Guys, welcome back. Or Bum here. Today we got a OnePiece deck profile. We got a double win at locals. We got promos and we got the winner Yamato. I sold my first one because it was worth like 80 bucks at the time, and now it's worth 60. Probably gonna sell this one too. But yeah, double win at locals. We got 2 Yamato winner promos. Very happy with the game, very happy with the list. I've been having a lot of fun playing One Piece. For the people that are here for Digimon or people that are here on the specifically One Piece channel, hello. If you guys don't know, I have a channel for every game I play. The amount I post is always questionable, but they exist. For Digimon, because I'm also posting this on the main channel. Expect more Digimon content. Right now we're just kind of waiting for Nats and waiting for a new set and for more fun decks to play that I enjoy playing at locals, and also stuff like that. But for now we're talking about One Piece. If you guys have any One Piece lists you want to see me cover and play, my girlfriend also is playing One Piece. She's been playing Doflamingo the past few weeks and she's been loving it. She's been going X1 at every local she's gone to since she started playing Doflamingo, and she's never played a card game before, so I'm very proud of her. But today we're talking about Traffy because this deck is really cool. It's got Combo City all up on it. At the cost of 4 HP, it has dual colors as well, which means that you have a lot more different room for different kinds of cards, which I will talk about as we go on. Why I do and don't play some specific cards. I actually wish I had a list with me, but we'll worry about that later. For now, let's go ahead and go over the list. We got Traffy here. Once per turn for a cost of 2. If you have a full board of 5 units, you can put 1 unit into your hand, any unit you want. Then you can play 1 character with a cost of 5 or less. That's a different color than the one you put back. So if you put back a red card, you have to play a green card and vice versa, right? Which is good because some of your best cards like Law and Rush Luffy, Rush Zoro, they're all 5 costs or less. Specifically Law. Law is like the main enabler for a 2 cost triple attack combo, which is really, really cool in this deck, and the reason why I wanted to play it so much, I like that combo a lot, and it's just a bunch of Dawn. Alright, let's go ahead and go over the cards. I have it organized by uses, I suppose. So we'll start here with Nami. For Nami here, the search is for any Straw Hat type card, not just character. Once we get the quick little thing, there we go. I know it says character here, but it's been errated for card, which means you can also search for stuff like Jet Pistol or any other events that you might want to play in this deck list. This deck list is playing very little events because you want to make sure you have as many units as possible so that you can fill up your board pretty consistently. So you play a lot of counters, you play a lot of cheap guys, and you play a lot of blockers because that's just the format right now. The format is play blockers or die. So we got 4 Nami and we have 4 Bonney as well. Same thing, it's 1 cost. You do have to rest it, which is kind of annoying because that means your opponent can't attack into it, but this will be able to search for your Law and all of your obviously Supernova cards. Your most powerful cards are Supernova and your most consistent cards are Nami. The cool thing about Nami and Bonney is that they can both search Zoro, but unlike Nami, only Bonney can search Law and Kid and like your really, really big powerhouse cards. So that's it for the searchers. It's a big glare, which is unfortunate. I don't think I can fix it, so we'll just do a few cards at a time, obviously. So watch the whole video if you want the whole deck list. You guys know how it is. All right, now we're going to talk about the blockers. We have 4 Bege, searchable by Bonney. We have 4 Chopper, searchable by Nami. We have 4 Killer, searchable by Bonney as well. So obviously these cards are crazy. Chump blockers, they're 1 cost, so you can help fill up your board pretty quickly. Killer is especially great because it gets you free draw, and sometimes you just got to refuel your hand. So I mean, you have to have a Dawn attached, which is sometimes really hard, especially in the early game. But you need these 12 blockers. Like, you just need blockers to win the game in this format, especially since we only have 4 life. So that's it for the blockers. We're gonna go ahead and talk about the 2K counters. We only have 8. We have 2 Brook and 2 Izou. Unfortunately, Izou is not searchable, but Izou is on play rest a guy. That's 4 costs or less. It can help you close out games. It is a pretty cheap card to play. And remember, anything that you play in this deck can be put back in your hand thanks to both Leader Law and Character Law. Brook is actually really cool because sometimes you have to fill up your board, so you play the Brook down and then use the Brook's on play effect to put 2 counters on something, such as your Leader Law or Zoro character, because you want to become 7k power. 7k power is like the magic number in this game because that means they have to discard both a 2k counter plus a 1k. Obviously increments in 2 in this game is like the best way to do damage as of set 1 until we get something like Whitebeard, where you have to be like increments of like 2+1 because of Whitebeard is starting at 6k. But yeah, you want those increments of 2. These 2k counters are good. Izou is not searchable, which is why you play 4. You want to play a higher count of the cards that are not searchable if you need them, and because Izou is so good, like on play, rest the character that's 4 costs or less, that's really strong. You can rest a blocker, that's annoying. You can rest something like Sentomaru if you want to swing over Sentomaru before they put down their pacifistas, etc., etc. So that's a 2k counter, and we have one more 2k counter. Actually, I forgot about this one because it's a kind of a combo piece as well. We have Otama, one of the best 2k counters that Red could ever ask for, because on play you can give a character minus 2000 power. This is really strong because it pairs super well with one of our tech choices and another card. Sorry for the background noise. Searchable for the searchable off Nami. We have Robin. Robin is when attacking KO one of your opponent's character 3000 or less. So obviously you played on Otama, which makes it then, if it makes a 5000 character power, only 3000 power, so which you can attack with Robin. If you have 2, you could do the same thing, but with 7000 power. If you have 2 and then another way to bounce it so that you can play it again, you can do something like Captain Kid, because obviously Kid is always a big problem for these decks that don't have hard removal like Purple does. So in order for us to deal with Kid, you actually have to weaken it quite a bit with Otama. If you can somehow put it back into your hand twice and play it down all 3 times, you can then make an 8000 power Kid, only 2000 power, weak enough to be killed by Robin, which is actually really, really powerful, and I had to do that a few times when testing this deck. Because we have ways to bounce with this law and obviously leader law as well. Which this is why I play 4. Obviously you don't have to play 4 with Nico Robin. I just like having the option to have a guy that's an immediate threat to most players, because their chump blockers just die. They can't play anything weaker than 3000 power because Robin is just going to kill it when attacking. And then you just attach 1 Dawn, which makes it 5000 power, so obviously it's really good. So we have 12 2k blockers, and we have 12 excuse me guys, sorry about that. We have 12 2k blockers, and we have 12 2k counters and 12 blockers, excuse my language there. And then we have obviously tech choices. Our tech choices are going to be Robin here, because of what I said earlier. It's just really good to have an attacker that's immediately threatening while also being cheap. I'm also playing Nekomamushi. This is definitely a flex spot in this part of the list. Actually Robin is as well. You don't have to play 4. I'm choosing to play 4. But if you wanted to cut some cards, I see a lot of players only playing 3 Robin, and some of them just don't play Nekomamushi at all. They choose to play other cards, which I understand. So, but I like Nekomamushi a lot. It's also a counter, it's also 2 costs, and on play you can rest a 3 cost or less character. So it's a little bit cheaper than Izou. It's a weaker counter, but it has the same stats otherwise. So I do like Neko. I had to use it a few times, so it's pretty decent. The only problem with Neko that is obviously a problem is that it's not searchable, but I really wanted more counters and more cheap guys in this deck list. I see a lot of lists playing like 4 Zoro, 4 Luffy, like high counts of these guys that are not counters and are not as cheap. But I mean, Zoro's pretty cheap, so it's kind of hard to argue about that, but there's that. All right, now we're going to the combo of the deck. The combo is... Ooh, we gotta put the pretty one on top. We have 4 Law here, and we have only 2 Zoro. After playing the tournament yesterday that I topped in, I kind of want to bump this up to 3 and maybe cut one of these Luffys, because I'm playing 2 Luffys as well. This is a I'll just go over all my top end. We have 2 Kid, 4 Law, 2 Luffy, 2 Zoro. I'm thinking about cutting one of these Luffys for a 3rd Zoro, because Zoro's just a 3 cost rush guy. Luffy's 5, which is really strong, and it can't be blocked, which is nice, but it demands a lot of memory. Obviously, if you use leader law effect, you only need to use 4 to attach those 2 to make it unblockable. But being unblockable feels a lot less necessary the more I play the game. So I'm thinking about making this a 1-up. It's still searchable. This is searchable by both Bonney and Nami. They're actually both searchable by both Bonney and Nami because they're Supernova and Straw Hat Crew. These 2 are only searchable by Bonney, so you can tell Bonnie's probably the most important card. But anyways, we'll talk about Kid first. Kid is just Kid. Like, the card's broken. It's actually disgusting. I kind of want to play more, but I don't want to brick too much, so I'm keeping it at 2. At Dawn 1, obviously you have to wait till like turn 10, like your final turn where you have 10 Dawn or 9 Dawn to use this card because it's so expensive. But for 8 cost, Dawn 1, which means you really need 9, Your opponent cannot attack other cards except for cards called Eustass to Captain Kid, which is important because it says character. It actually means cards, which means you can't attack leaders too. If you want to check out these erratas, make sure you just look up OnePiece TCG errata list because there's a lot of erratas in this game, and then just because they were printed poorly. And then this is once per turn you can rest this card to play it cost 3 or less from your hand, which is also really powerful because most of our deck is cost 3 or less. We can rest it to tap to play like an Izou or a Nico to tap something for free, and then swing over it with something else, which is actually really nice. And also, the same turn you play it, as long as you have a character, actually you don't have to have a character because you can play up to a character. Once again, another part of the erratas, but like because you have to be rested, this card has to be rested for your opponent to only be able to attack it. You can immediately rest it to play a guy down, which is actually really nice. So we play 2 kids. Very, very strong card. We play 4 Law. Law's another blocker, so this deck actually plays 16 blockers. Very important. And then on play, you return any characters to your hand and play 1 character with a cost of 3 or less from your hand. And then we have Zoro, which is a 3-cost rush guy. Luffy is a 5-cost rush guy that cannot be blocked. Luffy is just kind of like if you want to just get an extra attack in, you can do the Law skill to tap to play put something back in your hand. Usually put a searcher back in your hand. You play Luffy, swing, and then go off from there. Which is why this Luffy is nice. But because you usually are not doing any combos with this card, it's just free damage. It's kind of, to me, feels less necessary than something like Zoro would. But I don't want to play 4 Zoro because I don't want to brick on cards that are just like attackers and that's it. I'd rather just search my way to victory. So, but let me show you guys the combo. So the combo is something along the lines of this. So you have Law, right? You have a Law on board already, and then you have like a Law and a Zoro. So let's just say that this is, by the time you get to this, you're probably you probably have 7, 8, 9, 10 Dawn, right? Let's just go ahead and assume we have 7 Dawn. We've already played this Law, which we used to bounce a searcher to play another searcher the previous turn. Very nice, and there's a blocker. So we swing with Law because we're gonna bounce it. So we actually have no reason to not swing with this card. So we swing with 6, usually I swing with 7. So we attach 1 Dawn, make it 7, because 7 is the magic number like I mentioned earlier to swing a life. Then we hard play Zoro. And obviously we have a bunch of other guys because this is the Law combo. So we hard play Zoro and then we swing with Zoro real quick. So that costs 4 Dawn, right? We have 3 Dawn left. We can tap 2 with our Law leader, who will then put back Zoro to play a Law from our hand. Law skill will trigger, which will put back this Law to play Zoro again, and then we can just get another swing in. And it's just that easy. So just like that, if we have double Law and a singular Zoro, we can get in for actually as cheap as 6 cost, 3 attacks. As long as you have a Law on board, 6 Dawn, which is most likely not going to happen because that would mean that you would have to have 5 Dawn previously, which is why I mentioned 7 earlier. But for as cheap as 6 Dawn, so if you need 1 extra Dawn to play like a Nami or something, you can. As long as you have 3 other guys on board, so this is 4, you can do swing. Hold on, the other way around. Swing. Which will put this back in hand, swing, and then you have leader swing as well. So you can do as much as like 4 swings just with these guys alone. It's really, really cool, and that's what makes this deck so powerful. Another reason why I want to play 4 Zoro, just in case they like are in life for too long. Although your life count's only 4 in this deck, which is why you're most likely not going to have important combo pieces in life. But that is the combo, that is the deck. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Oh yeah, of course, there's 2 more cards to play. I'm playing 2 Jet Pistol. They're searchable with both Bonney and Law, and they're just really good removal cards. You could play more if you want to. Obviously, like I mentioned earlier, if you don't like Nico, because Neko is not searchable, you can cut Nico to play 2 more of these. There's also other counter cards you could play. I just like having more units than I like having events in this deck specifically. That's not how I like playing the deck in other ways, but I do like having more units, more characters, I should say, in this deck, rather than I like having events in this deck as well. Obviously, expect gameplay, especially now that my girlfriend's actually way better than I thought she was at this game, because like this is her first card game. I wasn't expecting her to be so talented so quickly. So that's pretty cool. We're gonna be doing probably Doflamingo versus some deck. Maybe we'll play with this deck. I'm not super sure yet. We'll see how she feels. But that is going to be the video. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, share, all that good jazz. If you have any particular character you want me to build, let me know. I have started building, obviously I have Doflamingo built. I've started building Blue Purple Kaido because I'm not super sure. I haven't tested it too much, but when I tested Purple Kaido, it definitely felt like you are at a severe disadvantage if you don't find Onigashima. And I believe the math is, even with a mulligan, you have a 35% chance to miss Onigashima turn 2, I think, which means that after your draw, after your first draw of the game, I should say, you will most likely miss Onigashima. I mean, that's a really high odd to miss Onigashima. So I feel like if you don't have Onigashima as early as turn 2 with Purple Kaido, then you could be at a severe disadvantage in the game, especially if your opponent knows how to play against it. While with Blue Purple Kaido, sure, you have 1 less life, but Blue Purple Kaido gives you the ability to get active Dawn every time you destroy something, as well as has cards like Perona, which can help organize your top 5, or bot deck it if you don't like anything in your top 5, which really helps with Kaido's consistency, especially when fighting Onigashima. It's a counter. They also have 1k counters in Law and 2k, really strong 2k counters in Mihawk, which is why I think Blue Purple Kaido might be really, really good, but I'm not too sure yet. I haven't play tested it too much. I do want to play, obviously, Leader Zoro, just a red-based deck. Anyways, I'm just rambling. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe for all the good jazz, and I'll talk to you guys next time.